This moment allows us to reflect on the many people perhaps who, as I mentioned earlier, may have fallen by the wayside as we continue reliving, retelling what it's taken for South Africa to get to where we are. But as you can see on the front of your screen there, we're watching the story from a number of vantage points. Lebogang Pheko is part of the Trade Collective. She's giving us insights around how we should be reflecting on what's taking place. And there's also live visuals for you coming from a different vantage point of the Heritage Site and Museum in Tshwane. It's also where we find our Canny Maphanga, who's also part of our SABC news team, helping us tell the story to the country. And Kenny, we're anticipating a number of dignitaries, government officials to start arriving. Who have we spotted?
Absolutely. Good morning to you, Ayanda, and to the viewers at home. What you're seeing right now in front of you are visuals of the family members of the just over 40 comrades of the liberation struggle that are arriving. We know that if you look further down that road, you'll see that most of those mortal remains that have been placed in coffins are lined up ready to enter. We're moments away from the start of this momentous historic occasion, which will celebrate the lives and legacy of these just over 40 liberation heroes. We know that this is the first mass event of this kind where you're seeing a group of 40, or at least just over 40, of those mortal remains arriving in order to pay tribute to those who sacrificed from themselves, from their families, in order for us to enjoy the constitutional democracy that we enjoy today. I'm joined by some of the military MK veterans that were comrades of these mortal remains, or the individuals that you see coming through to this venue now at Freedom Park ahead of the moments away start to this momentous occasion. Mr. Dan Hatto, who is now the national convener of the MKL MVA, joins me now to reflect on this historic moment as we see a lot of those families making their way in to pay their respects to their loved ones who contributed greatly to the democracy that we enjoy today. As you know, Mr. Hatto, these are some of your comrades that you were on the front lines with. You joined them in exile decades ago and joined in the struggle. As you watch this final send-off, this moment that you've been calling on for decades, you've been asking the government to assist in bringing home the Liberation War heroes that fought for their lives, and now we want to see them at their final resting place. When you look at these visuals, you look at the reality that faces us now. We are surrounded by these mortal remains, and we will be paying these last respects today. How do you reflect upon this significant moment?
Kenny, it's a very significant moment for us. What you are describing, it hit me on Tuesday when we were in Zambia. When we saw all the boxes of the comrades who were being repatriated from Zambia, one could not help but share a tear or two. That's exactly what transpired. This is an occasion that can never be forgotten by ourselves. We really commend the South African government. We really commend the president of this country for having taken this decision to bring these martyrs back home where they belong. Amongst them, we've got stalwarts like Comrade Dumanokwe, Comrade Florence Muposho, Comrade Todd Machigiza, and you still have the young lions in the name of Comrade Lifa from Port Elizabeth, Comrade Eke, originally from East London, but based in Gauteng when he left the country. These are young people who were inspired by the likes of Comrade Dumanokwe. Comrade Dumanokwe, as we know, the first black advocate to be admitted to the bar. He could have stayed in South Africa comfortably, done his practice. But the liberation of the South African people to him was an urgent matter that had to be attended to. He left South Africa to go and join Comrade Oliver Tambo, the president of the African National Congress in those days. And they held the African National Congress together under difficult circumstances. And I want to bring this to the fore in terms of Umkhonto weSizwe, Kenny. There are some quarters out there who keep on saying that MK didn't exist or MK was useless. And when the Cubans were fighting in Quito-Quana Valley, MK was drunk, And this is to show that this Mkhonto weSizwe that they are talking about, they do not know its background. They do not know its history. Just to mention one young lion in the group of comrades that have been brought back to the country, Lifa, the one I spoke to, when he came, he was still a teenager. As a result, we called them pioneers. Comrade Lifa was within the group that was transferring comrades of Mkhonto weSizwe who were supposed to go and face the enemy inside the country. As you know that our country is right down there in the south. There are countries in between. So those comrades at the Zambezi River, they were there to assist the unit that I was working with in Botswana to ferry guerrillas of Mkhonto weSizwe from Zambia to Botswana en route to South Africa. So you want to tell me this was an army that was useless, an army of drunkards? Comrade Lifa, when he died, he had just robbed a group of guerrillas of Mkhonto weSizwe on the other side of Botswana, where we picked them up en route to South Africa as they were coming back to Livingstone. Unfortunately, there were hippos apparently that were disturbed upstream. And when you disturb a hippo, it gets very angry. That's how they got attacked and they were drowned. 7 of them in their prime age. So these are the people who are talking about today, who made it possible for us to enjoy this freedom that we are enjoying, to have what we call isivivane, to have a freedom park. So we'll never forget them.
In addition, you speak of the circumstances that your comrades have endured, some even such as the MK Mvemve, who lost his life tragically through a parcel bomb that was sent to those officers there in Lusaka, Zambia, just fresh into going to exile, not able to finish that mission. How do you reflect on the circumstances that a lot of these soldiers endured in order for the liberation struggle to continue and for South Africa to be where it is today?
Kenny, these are the people who took a decision. They took a conscious decision alone that they would want to go and join the African National Congress and in turn join Mkhonto weSizwe. And by doing that, it tells us these are the people who were prepared to sacrifice. They had ceased to be themselves, but they had given their lives to the people of South Africa. They were prepared to sacrifice. As we all know, the apartheid regime was brutal. Hence, it was said that it was a crime against humanity. People of Zambia, where we went to fetch these gallant heroes, were not spared from that. There were bombs that were put all over Lusaka by the apartheid regime. People like Comrade Mvemve, despite the fact that they could not be in a position to move the whole mile, but the fact of the matter is that these comrades took that conscious decision knowing that it's not just honey out there. They are there to go and protect the people of South Africa. They are going out there to liberate the people of South Africa. When 1994 came, we were all excited. But beyond that, their families kept asking us, where are our beloved ones? It is because of that that we feel grateful today. We commend our government today that this day has ultimately come to bring these heroes, for them to go and rest in their rightful places, to go and meet their ancestors. Probably people might think that those coffins has got only bones, but we believe that those bones mean a lot, because a body with just the meat in it is nothing, but the bones, they give a structure to that body.
Thank you very much. That was Mr. Danhato highlighting that this freedom we enjoy today did not come easy. Those soldiers enduring difficult circumstances, going into exile, leaving their families behind in order for us to enjoy that constitutional democracy that we enjoy today. Now, Ayanda, we are moments away from this historic occasion taking place here at Freedom Park. Over to you in studio.